Hello everybody, this is Dragon King from the Horror Network again. I know you're all probably getting tired of hearing my voice, but other news and reviews and stuff are on the way, okay? I promise you that. But, because this is sort of a review, sort of not, we didn't plan to do this episode, but after seeing enough of these, I decided that I would make a video about the absurd, insane amount of horror ghost hunting games or other supernatural hunting games that have come out recently. Let's go over just the numbers, shall we? We've got Pacify. There was Phasmophobia, the most popular probably out of any of the ghost hunting games. We got Devour after that, which is very similar to Pacify. We've gotten Forewarned, which is it's pretty much Phasmophobia, but archaeology and Egyptian, so with mummies and stuff and other similar things. You've also got Haunt Chaser, which is an asymmetrical horror game that also has a PvE option, and another ghost hunting game, another two ghost hunting games that are actually really uncomfortably similar to each other and Phasmophobia are Ghost Hunter Core, pretty much Ghostbusters. Ghost Hunter Core is more Ghostbusters than Phasmophobia is. And then the other game is Obsidio, which, to be honest, I'm not really a particularly huge fan of. So we've got Forewarned, Haunt Chaser, Phasmophobia, Ghost Hunter Core, Obsidio. Hold on, I have it somewhere in our Discord. I'll go check that first. This is, and so pretty much this video is gonna be covering Haunt Chaser, Forewarned. It's gonna be covering Haunt Chaser briefly again. Pretty much every game I just listed is gonna have a mini review. That's all it is. And it's also going to be a criticism, again, of all the games in general. Let's start with a mini review of Pacify. If you wanna go check out our original video on Pacify, there is another video. You can just... Is there any way... Javier, I'll let you handle it. You know how to do this stuff. Sorry. So yeah. Stealthy will handle linking the Pacify video and whatever he does. Now, pretty much, this Pacify came before all the other ghost hunting games. And it is a simple, straightforward game. You have to complete certain objectives after going to a certain place to defeat a certain spirit or entity that, at least in all three missions, has been a female. In the first two missions, the ghost possessed a little girl and an adult woman. And then the third mission was just an actual witch. But the whole thing is, you just have to capture the ghost. Pretty simple ghost hunting game. Do objectives to capture the ghost. But another really fun thing is that there are 3 different endings. The good ending, the bad ending, the secret ending, or as I like to call them, the good ending, the bad ending, and then the worst ending. The worst ending is whenever you get defeated by the ghost. The bad ending is whenever you do not bring the ghost back, and then the good ending is when you bring the ghost back. Overall, I stated my thoughts on Pacify previously in that video, as I already said, so I don't feel like repeating all of it. So, in my opinion, Pacify is a really good game. It's not as popular, but it is getting a confirmed 4th update, which is the Headquarters, Paranormal Activity Helpers Incorporated, which is the company they work for, Headquarters. Now let's move on to the most popular of the ghost hunting games, Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia was a pretty crazy game on release, and it still really is. A fun little thing But unlike Pacify, where you had to do certain objectives, Phasmophobia is simply go into the house, find clues about what ghost it is, and use these clues to find out what ghost it is. When you find out what ghost it is, you peace out, and just leave the area. Just peace out, hand in the information, get your money, and then relax. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Because, at least I believe, when the guy who talks to you through the radio, the AI man who voices, when he talks to you through the radio, I believe I once heard him say, find out what ghost it is, and then we'll send the ghost removal team in, or something like that. I don't know. But pretty much you're only there to confirm what ghost it is, then the professionals go in and eliminate it. Now, eliminating ghosts actually brings us... Phasmophobia also has a bunch of really creepy maps, a bunch of really creepy ghosts, and their newest map, which I believe is the campsite, has a bunch of horror Easter eggs. Oh, hey, birdie. It has a bunch of horror Easter eggs, and I'll list them all really quickly. Slenderman will appear throughout the map just randomly. There is a Blair Witch totem on one of the poles. And then, in the lake... Actually, you know what? I don't want to spoil this one. I'll let Stealthy edit in this really... I'll let Stealthy edit this clip in. But there's something in the lake, and that's all I'm gonna say there. Phasmophobia's atmosphere is really good, but there is two things that I really wish would happen more. Also, Phasmophobia just got a cursed updates object, but I haven't checked that out yet. But going back to the 2 pieces of feedback I would give the devs. Your game is really good so far, especially after you revamped it with the whole... Now there's a bunch more ghosts. There's more than... Ghosts can have more than three things on near it. Like some ghosts, they could have like fingerprints, freezing temps, and then ghost rain. I'm just listing off a bunch of random clues. But then they could have ghost orbs near it. So not only do you have to find the clues, you also have to use your brain and study the ghost's behavior before confirming what it is. And honestly, I like that a lot more than what just finding 3 clues and piecing out. But here's the thing. The atmosphere is really good, but I feel like the atmosphere could be even better if there was just some ambient soundtracks. I feel like if there were some ambient soundtracks, depending on where you were, or sounds, certain sounds had a increased oomph to them, the atmosphere would be maybe close to double the creepiness. I don't know, but that's the first piece of feedback for the game. Another piece of feedback I would give is, as you move up there are like multiple different difficulties on the Phasmophobia, but one thing I wish would happen in the higher difficulties, and even just in general, I wish the ghosts would do more ghosty things. I wish you saw stuff move on its own more. Because as you get and lights turn off on their own more, and perhaps even the ghosts just appearing more and doing some creepy animations would be really cool. Because as you get into higher difficulties, it just goes hunt, 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 hunt. And it's just the ghosts constantly hunting instead of doing what I would call some ghostly things. As you get into higher difficulties, the ghosts just hunt instead of doing things to creep out the players. So yeah, good game. On to the next one. Ghost Hunter Core. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Next up, we've got Ghost Hunter Core, which is just straight up Ghostbusters # trademark pending the game. Ghost Hunter Core is similar to Phasmophobia, as in you have to find out what kind of ghost it is, but you also have to exorcise it. Also, I believe there won't be any confirmation, unlike in Phasmophobia. When you take out each ghost will have its own individual way of being exorcised. The objects are very similar to Phasmophobia. There's a night vision camera, there's a regular camera that can capture occult objects. So there's your cursed object similarity there. And after that, I don't think there will be any sort of confirmation. You just have to study the ghost, make sure. You have to study the ghost, give it your best, most educated guess, and then exorcise it with how the book tells you to exorcise it, or how you print out the exorcism. How you exorcise. You print out an exorcism paper that tells you how to exorcise the God, I hate saying that over and over. That tells you how to exorcise the ghost. Now, here's the thing. Ghost Hunter Core is very, 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 very similar to Phasmophobia, but it has the addition of the ghosts being a lot more difficult to deal with. At least that was how it was before. I don't know if they nerfed the ghosts or something. I've heard that they have, but I can't be too sure. But it's pretty much just Phasmophobia with some really cool graphics. Or, not cool, it's a little more polished than Phasmophobia. No, Phasmophobia is more polished, but the graphics in the game are really good, at least in Ghost Hunter Core. They both have really good graphics. Anyway, point being, it's really just Phasmophobia with an exorcism attached to the end of it. Now, is this a bad game? I don't know. With how similar it is to Phasmophobia, you could consider it a horrible game because it's just Phasmophobia with a exorcism fact to it. But regardless, the ghosts in that game are really creepy. They do a lot of jump scary shit before they start hunting you, and they're really terrifying. Not saying Phasmophobia's ghosts aren't, but I do think, at least in my experiences, sorry, my stuff just banged down this like railing chair. And basically, sorry if you couldn't hear me. The whole thing is, I think it's a cool game. It's just nowhere near as good as Phasmophobia. Despite the fact that the ghosts do a little more creepy stuff during Ghost Hunter Core, their Phasmophobia is just all out better, in my opinion. Now, let's go on to another similar game. Obsidio. Obsidio is very, very, very similar to Ghost Hunter Core. But instead of being Ghostbusters that exorcise the ghosts, it's more similar to The Conjuring in the fact that it's like religion and blessing. Because in Ghost Hunter Core, one of the ways to exorcise the ghosts is to use a salt shotgun or like this plasma spraying thing straight out of Ghostbusters. But in Obsidio, it's just, you're like, the players are actually dressed in like a priest or a deacon sort of outfit, and so it's like an actual exorcism. Now here's the thing. Despite that difference, Obsidio just feels like Ghost Hunter Core and Phasmophobia combined, but somehow worse than both of them. It's pretty buggy, and me personally, I don't feel the atmosphere is as creepy as in the other two games. And another thing is, there aren't as many creepy moments as in the other games. I think the most creepy moment is when you fail the bloody exorcism. The ghosts are cool, but it just lacks what the other two games lacks to an even higher degree. What the other games lack to a higher degree. So it's not a particularly... Since Ghost Hunter Core and Phasmophobia came before it, I feel like it's just a copycat. More so than Ghost Hunter Core. Because I don't think... I'm sorry for people who really love Obsidio, but I just don't think Obsidio is that good a game. Now let's move on to... Well, we already covered Haunt Chaser, so I might as well give you guys a Haunt Chaser update right now. The game is dying. Multiple content creators have said the game is dying. Multiple of the people who played the game said the game's dying. The second update still hasn't come out, which is probably the reason for all these people saying the game is dying. Because there was also an announcement, and Stealthy, I'll screenshot this announcement and then send it to you so you can edit it in here, and then we'll give people some time to read it. But okay, just pause if you want to read the the announcement. But after that announcement, people just fear the game is dead. This gives me really, really last year vibes with that announcement. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for saying that, but you know it, I know it. The devs pretty much had to say it, but they can't work on last year anymore, but that's a whole different video entirely. Basically, we here at the Horror Network have decided to give Haunt Chaser the dead stamp. After that announcement that Stealthy is going to put up, that was their last announcement. That was the devs' last announcement. So people believe the game is dead, including me, who actually really enjoyed that game. So sorry, Haunt Chaser, but with your lack of communication from the devs and the fact that we still haven't gotten that second update we were promised, the Horror Network is officially going to stamp you with the dead stamp. D-E-D, dead. Now, moving on to Forewarned. Now, here's the thing. Forewarned is very similar to Phasmophobia, where you have to find clues, use those clues to guess the entity type, or use those clues, and then you go in, use the clues, use the entity type, grab a treasure, get the hell out. But something that really separates Forewarned from the other ghost hunting games is the setting. Forewarned is it's pretty much an archaeology team is in Egypt, and they're going into a tomb to grab a treasure from the tomb and peace out with the treasure along with any money they can carry. So it's sort of archaeology. Now here's the thing, with the whole archaeology feel, the tombs are actually really fun, and they might even be more fun than some of the maps on Phasmophobia. Because funny thing about Forewarned is the maps have traps. There are these swinging axe blades. There are these Indiana Jones boulders. There are also, the spirits will be active even before you awaken them in a while. So here's the thing. It's a really fun game. The spirits do really creepy stuff. You'll hear footsteps walking by you. You'll hear your torches will be blown out in your hand. You'll get magnetic disruptions, electrical disruptions, and even a quake. and tombs will be disturbed. Now, aside from traps, there's also puzzles you can do, like pulling certain levers in a certain order to open up a room full of treasure. Now, let's think about this, shall we? It's a fun game. The puzzles and the traps make it a really, really, really fun game. The ghost just, the spirit wandering around, just adding to the fear by dousing lights, chasing you around as a black cloud. It's all in all adds up to a fun experience. Now here's the thing. You could actually go the whole time without taking any risks with the spirit. Obviously, you're going to be taking risks, setting off traps and trying to dodge swinging axe blades, and you could die to those. But unless what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to gather the clues, use the clues to find out the name of the entity, and then once you find out the name of the entity, you punch in the name on the tomb door. Because here's the thing, you can't just leave. If you leave, you can't leave. That's the thing. Once you enter, the door to the tomb just seals shut behind you. And once you have to, what happens is you go into the tomb, grab the treasure, peace out. But wait, you can't peace out. You've stolen the guy's treasure, the door is locked, and now you have to find a way to open the door, which will be in the form of levers. But once you steal the treasure from the tomb, that's where things get dangerous. That's where the entity will wake up and start chasing you around, trying to kill you. There are multiple different entities as well. One of the creepiest is this 3-headed, zombified human thing that can transform into one of your teammates. It was the most horrifying thing. Just, wait, that's another blah blah blah's name model. Why is there 2 blah blah blahs? And then it just transforms and grabs someone and kills them. Another entity is just a stereotypical mummy, but larger, faster, and deadlier. Another entity that I've seen is sort of this hunchback with all these chains on it, and he teleports around. Also, there is another way to trigger the ghost. If you get the name wrong, the tomb won't open, you won't get the treasure, the door will lock and will remain locked, and the entity will wake up since you failed to get in, since you failed to get its name right. And that will anger it. Like, how dare you call it something else? So yeah, there's 2 ways to wake up the entity. You have to get out with the treasure or without the treasure, depending on if you fail the name or not. And then once you get out, there's actually another really cool aspect. If you die, you'll be given 2 options. 1, you can come back as a mummy and help your friends, or 2, you can come back as a mummy and help kill your friends. So it sort of has a tiny bit of asymmetrical spread upon it. Also, if one of your teammates decided to turn on you and you have a lit torch, you can burn them alive and kill them permanently by lighting them on fire. Basically, if you come back as a mummy, you run the risk of being lit on fire, either on accident or on purpose. Now, that's pretty much the premise of the game. Get to the tomb, get the stuff, find the levers to open the exit, then peace out so you don't die. And if you do die, you do get a second chance depending on what you pick. So overall, due to how unique the game feels, due to the archaeology and how creepy it is, and how creepy the spirit and terrifying the entity can be in both forms, physical and spirit, it is a really good game. I actually really like it, despite its similarity to the other ghost hunting games, purely due to the fact that the archaeology aspect makes it so unique. Moving on to the next game. God, this is tiring. So we've done one. There's Devour. Now here's the thing. Devour is very similar to Pacify, honestly. Remember how in Pacify, the first level, you had to burn dolls to defeat the girl? Yeah. In the first level of Devour, you have to burn 10 goats to defeat the woman. In the second level of Devour, you have to electrify 10 rats and fry them with that electricity to defeat the second entity. And then the third level's objectives are actually somewhat complicated, but not too complicated, but basically, certain eggs go certain places, put the eggs in the correct places, and the girl will die. The story of Devour it's basically similar to Pacify in the way that, do these things to weaken the spirit, but the more you do them, the more she'll get pissed off. And another aspect that's similar to Pacify is pacifying, but not in the way that you would in Pacify. In Devour, if you just hold your UV light on the entity long enough, they will become pacified and not deadly, at least for a time. Which is similar to how Pacify works. Once you pacify them, they're deadly for a certain amount of time, depending on how much progress you've made. But the whole part of that with the pacifying and the just doing certain stuff to defeat the entity, it's all very similar to Pacify, and honestly feels, at least if you played Pacify first, feels like it was ripped out of Pacify. So I just can't enjoy it as much as Pacify. But with that being said, it is a good game. I'm not saying it's a bad game, because something it has that Pacify doesn't have is extra enemies. In the first level, there are these demons that are missing legs that you have to burn away with the UV light. In the second level, which is the asylum, there are these people in wheelchairs. There are these demons in wheelchairs that you have to burn away with the UV light. And I don't understand what sort of logic this follows. I don't know how this is logical or scientific in any way, but in the third level, you can burn spiders to ash for some reason with the UV light. Honestly, not too big a fan there. Because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Like, if burning away demons I can understand with a UV light, but like an actual just regular spider, like, come on, I don't, whatever, it's not like a vampire, and I just don't, like, understand it, but that's probably on me. Now, here's the biggest issue, honestly, I have with this game. Every level, aside from the first one, there will be a person you can't play as because that person tried to summon Azazel, and they did summon Azazel, but now Azazel possesses them. In the first, because the cult that you are a part of is the Watchers of Azazel. And the leader in the first level summons Azazel into her. And then when you burn the 10 goats, after leading them and catching them in the fire, you will burn Azazel out of her. And then, in the second level, after you will, Molly, who was submitted to a psychiatric hospital and is also part of the cult, the Watchers of Azazel, will also get possessed, since as she's enduring shock therapy in the psychiatric hospital, she remembers how to summon Azazel and she does it. However, there is a criticism with that. This is more of an overlooked thing, but the statue of Azazel in the second level, the gold statue of Azazel, that is not a statue of Azazel, that is a statue of Baphomet. I will get you an image of that statue in game, then get a picture of Baphomet, and let you guys compare it. That is not Azazel, that is Baphomet. Now, in the third level, this woman was breeding spiders to offer as sacrifices for Azazel, and then Azazel got enough of the sacrifices and made her a spider woman. Now that's my criticism with the game. Every level so far, all 3 levels, it has been Azazel. In the first level, I can get it being Azazel. They just pick a demon, the cult's the Watchers of Azazel. They just have at it. It's the Watchers of Azazel, put Azazel in there. But in the second level, that is clearly a statue of Baphomet. Why did you do Azazel again? You could have made the demon that possessed Molly Baphomet instead of Azazel. They're both goat demons, but so I can get why you would just continue to do Azazel. But I mean, still, that is a statue of Baphomet. You should have done Baphomet, personally, I think. Now, the third level is the one that makes the least sense. Both Baphomet and Azazel have links to goats and are portrayed as goat demons. In the third level, the woman becomes a half spider, half woman. Like, in the first 2 levels, the possessed people actually had similarities to goats. They had goat horns on their heads after taking a certain amount of damage from you electrifying rats or burning goats. But spiders have nothing to do with Azazel. Sure, she sacrificed massive spiders as a sacrifice to him, but a spider woman? You could have made that Jorogumo, which is a Japanese yokai, who is literally a spider woman. Half spider, half woman. Instead of making it Azazel again, you could have made the Third level, Ajoro Gumo. You could have made the second level, Baphomet. And you should have made both of them what I respectively said for each one. Also, it's very similar to Pacify, as in the ghosts will just like jump scare you and then your friends have to find a way to heal you, but there's no finding a way to heal you, unlike in Pacify. So in each Pacify level, there's a unique way to heal you. In Devour, every level just has medkits that are used to help people back up. Now, there hasn't been a confirmed update, a confirmed 4th level for Devour yet, unlike Pacify. Personally, since I did Pacify first, I just can't enjoy Devour as much. Now, second, so we've got Devour, Forewarned, Phasmophobia, Ghost Hunter Core, Obsidio, Haunt Chaser, and then Pacify. That's all 7 I think I did in the beginning. So, but come on, that's 7 ghost hunting games, almost all within the span of one single year. Like, come on. There's just so many ghost hunting games recently. Okay, moving away from that. Like I said, there was Forewarned, there was Haunt Chaser, which is a sort of ASIM game, but it still has a ghost hunting aspect to it, and it's dead, so I'll just include it on the list anyway. Then you've got Phasmophobia, Ghost Hunter Core, and Obsidio, which respectively go from best, better, good, and then bad. With Phasmophobia being best, Ghost Hunter Core being good, and then, well, sort of good, and then Obsidio just being bad. And then you add the two very, very similar Pacify and Devour. It's just, they're too similar for me to enjoy one more than the other. Well, they're too similar to each other, and since I went with Pacify first, I enjoy Pacify more. So but that being said, Devour's still a pretty good game. But come on, that's 7 ghost hunting games. I feel like I'm missing one, but I don't know. But I swear to God, if there is one more ghost hunting game, I'm gonna... Motherfuckers.
Hello viewers of the Horror Network. I want to play a game. 90% of you that watch our content have not subscribed to our channel. This cannot happen again. The device strapped to your computer will cause it to explode and delete your social media accounts, forever deleting your presence. All you must do is subscribe. Live or die, make your choice.